Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me for the latest edition of Roundtable. I'm your host, Adam Cook. And this week we're going round the council table for Richmond County as we once again zero in on some discussions that took place during the most recent meeting of Richmond's Committee of the Whole. Later on in the show, you're going to hear how a former NSLC building in St. Peter's could have a new life as a fitness center for the community. But we begin with a discussion on charging stations for electric vehicles. There are already a few in different parts of Richmond County, and the topic recently resurfaced a couple of months ago at the regular council meeting among councillors who would like to see more of these charging stations set up. So we're going to pick up the conversation and see how things turned out during Richmond's latest Committee of the Whole meeting held just last week. Let's hear first from District 5 Municipal Councillor Brent Sampson.
My original intent was more to do with the Type 3, I guess, and that was kind of what I was thinking along those lines, just because if you were passing, if you were traveling, let's say from Halifax to Sydney, there is one in Monastery, and then I believe there's one in Victoria County that shows up, but that would be it, and so it would sort of force people to take the 105 if they were considering using that. That being said, I know that the costs are vastly different on the Type 2 to the Type 3. As much as I think they're a good idea, it may be in our best interest to wait on a Type 3 type situation, only because sort of like the information we're going to get from the CAO later tonight about some of these federal grants and so on that come out for different things. Honestly, if they want people to change over to electric vehicles, we're nowhere near ready with the infrastructure anywhere, really. I mean, there's some, but not anywhere near the amount that would be required. So as much as I'd like to see them, at this point in time, I thought maybe it's better on us to consider the Type 2, even a couple more strategic locations within the county to hang out for a bit of a longer period of time, because these aren't really set up as much. You stop 20 minutes, half hour, and then get back on the go. These are a few hours, right? Around the canal. And that's the kind of thing for tourists to hang around a little while, right? And my thought was even possibly somewhere like Point Michaud Beach. I'll open the floor for any other discussion.
Yeah, those level 2 charging stations, Councillor, they take a much different time frame.
Yeah, I definitely would have been inclined as well to have Type 3 charging stations, just because it would, again, people would be not necessarily planning to stick around for a bit when they're traveling through. But I do feel as well that eventually there'll be some funding for those. And right now, if we're going to consider any, we should probably consider the Type 2, because the Clean Foundation does have that funding right now. So I also noted that funding is due by the end of March. And so we would be on a bit of a tight timeline. I know that we had received information on a couple of locations where we do have these Type 2. Did you just say there was one at the canal?
There's one in St. Peter's at the
and
canal.
there's one in Jammer's Island as well, right?
I'm not sure where the second one is. I know it's somewhere on Medina.
Yeah, in Jammer's Island. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, sorry to be warden, if I'm not mistaken,
well,
there's two on the island. There's one actually at the restaurant in the Goose.
Yeah, at the grounds.
Yeah. It was just set up about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago.
Okay.
So I wonder if, is to ask Chris, who prepared the briefing note for us, to get some quotations for the supply and then what the potential funding could be, right? And submit that application. So I think we need to think about where we'd like to put those and what that could look like.
So
we get some rough numbers there in the briefing notes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll pull them up quick here.
Yeah, he had said that level 2s were between 11.5 and 12.5 plus installation exclusive of HST.
Yeah.
But he did also say in his briefing note that if we really wanted to proceed with this, to be able to make a final decision, that we could let him know, what level we like, and then some locations, so he could figure out whether or not the supply and.
What was the cost of the level 3?
65 to 75,000. a big difference.
It's a huge
Plus,
jump.
the thing is with that, Mike, is we can get, what is it, 50% funding with the level 2, where we can't get any funding at the moment with the level 3.
The funding is 50% to a maximum of 5,000.
Okay, so it would turn out to be less than 50% in all likelihood then, but still, it's a good chunk.
So I just feel like what we have now to provide, to make a judgment call on where else we might need them. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the one at the canal is a level 2 station, but I just don't know for sure. And so I think those are some things we would want to find out.
And I know that it's not on our capital list on long term either, which we will probably want to add at budget deliberations. But I've also asked the question before, and again, Don, if I'm speaking incorrectly, let me know. But that if we had a project like this that came up that we hadn't considered as a priority, but was a priority, that we could still make adjustments. Is that correct, Don?
Well, we would probably have been provided the opportunity to prepare ourselves in case funding was made available.
Yeah.
I know the funding for the level 2 chargers the deadline is March 18th.
I'm just not 100% confident in determining the location of those stations without having a really good sense of what's out there now, right? So,
because the briefing note just says 2 stations, one in Jarman's Island and one in St. Peter's. That's all.
Yeah, I would assume for the application, though, I believe he'd need locations on them, right?
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That would serve 2 purposes. Obviously, it would also serve to get a better estimate of the cost to install, because depending on where it's at, it's going to affect installation costs for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know the one that the 2 that are on the island, both Appleseed Energy installed them. One is at Appleseed's location where there is no charge to obviously, but the other one that is at the other one that is in Disgoose, I believe that's for their people that are there overnight. Or yeah.
So maybe what we could be prepared to do is to ask staff to investigate, pricing the installation and proceeding with an application, but to be brought back to our next meeting, so that just in case an installation price, to your point, Councillor Sampson, I think Point Michaud Beach would be a really wonderful spot, because there's there's so much programming that goes on there, and it's a destination. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It seems to me the infrastructure required would probably be more expensive to install there, but I just don't know.
Well,
so we could ask for that pricing.
Yeah, I believe in reading those briefing notes. One of the things too is the level 2s don't require 3-phase power.
That's right.
No, I don't think so.
So that should be fine. Like, I know there's 3-phase runs as far as Little Harbor for the lobster plant, but I don't believe it goes beyond there. So that would be okay, I would think, for Point Michaud Beach. But I mean, the arena was somewhere I thought of too, because sometimes people are going to be there for several hours. It's a municipally owned structure, and it's fairly centralized within the county, right?
Yeah,
So
I would agree with that one as
they would
well. It was on my mind.
Yeah, they're 2 sort of areas that aren't served by any right now. So I'd be prepared to make a motion to ask staff to investigate based on those 2 locations.
I like those 2 options. I would probably also add our municipal building in Ayrshire as well. Right, because that's in the central area, and Ayrshire, although I know if there are already a couple on Almadam, I think it's on the other side. I'll just throw that one in, and I guess I would ask Councillor Sean in terms of what may be suitable in Petite Gras.
Yeah, I think Warden Marquette used the operative word here, and then the word we should all be looking for is destination, right? So if you're looking at a 2.5 to a 4-hour charge, you're looking for a destination stop, more or less, right? To for people to say, okay, I'm going to charge my vehicle at the same time, but I'm going to spend 2-3 hours at a beach or at a destination that's attracting people and tourists, right? So in Petite Gras, I mean, of course, they're working at that monument park in Petite Gras, so hopefully that'll be in place in the next little while. You're looking at the Picasso in Petite Gras. That's always a destination for tourists, right? So we'd have to strategize on places to put these things and make sure that they're destination areas for sure.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Deputy Warden?
So I'll change my comment about the municipal building. It's actually the Clarestone Inn that has the charging station, not
Right.
the groundswell.
I would
Okay.
like to ask staff to look at the 3 locations, like La Picasse and the arena in Louisdale and Point Michelle Beach.
Mhm.
La Picasse sounds like it would make a lot of sense as well. We got a library right there that's municipal, you know. as
Yeah, and
well.
it's also,
Yeah.
it's
Ball
just, it's right
field.
next to the ball field, which is, you
Yeah.
know, huge,
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge draw in the summertime.
all summer long, yeah.
At the request of District 5 Councillor Brent Sampson, Richmond Council passed a motion to ask municipal staff to look into 3 potential locations for electric vehicle charging stations: Centre La Picasse in Petit de Gras, the Richmond Arena Complex in Louisdale, and Point Michaud Provincial Park Beach. If you drive through St. Peter's and go along the main drag on Grenville Street, it's hard to miss the building that used to house St. Peter's outlet for the Nova Scotia Liquor Commission. That building cast a huge shadow on Grenville Street for many years. It's still there, but the NSLC operation has moved to the refurbished Foodland supermarket in another part of Grenville Street. Well, now some community residents, including a former municipal councillor for the St. Peter's area, want to turn the former NSLC building into a community fitness centre. Here's the conversation on that topic that recently took place during Richmond's Committee of the Whole meeting held last week, and it's going to feature Claire Rankin, a former municipal councillor and a frequent returning officer for Richmond County, making the pitch to see fitness take the place of the NSLC over at that building on Grenville Street that we've all seen and known so well over the years.
St. Peter's is the oldest community, one of the oldest communities in Canada. Used by the Mi'kmaq as a summer camp as they fished in St. Peter's Bay for thousands of years. The first non-native visitors were the Basques in the late 1500s, who were also here because of the fishery. Later, the entrepreneur and explorer Nicolas Denys moved here and in 1650 founded the community now known as St. Peter's. The village has been around ever since. Now home to approximately 800 people, St. Peter's is the shopping and business center for over 5,000 Richmond County residents. And according to Parks Canada in 2017, when they announced the new Canal Bridge, St. Peter's has the most year-round counts of traffic than any other community in Cape Breton. He made the point that Waikagama has more traffic through the summer, but a year-round, St. Peter's had more traffic going through it. And it has been discussed in the mainstream media. The phenomenal movement of people from other parts of Canada and Nova Scotia has greatly impacted St. Peter's, with no less than 12 homes in the village being sold in the past year, some of them having been empty for years. We had a fitness center for 20 years here in the community, and it was led by a real innovative community leader involving health and fitness. He organized runs and other things, but the center was sold in the spring of 2021 to another owner who leased it to new residents of Canada. Unfortunately, this new business didn't survive 6 months and closed in November, leaving the community without a gym. So with this new initiative, the Village Fitness Center Co-op Limited will again provide the residents of St. Peter's and the surrounding areas with a space to maintain and improve their physical and mental health. The gym hopes to attract a wide range of gym users from around the St. Peter's area and beyond. The original owner of the old gym is our main advisor, and he says he had a peak membership of approximately 170 members at one time, with a provincial campground, a large marina, 3 motel inns offering accommodations, and the traveling public. The rate of drop-in users is higher than normal for this type of business. And the nearest competition are the Body and Soul Fitness Center in Port Hawkesbury and the iFit Center in Ayrshire, both approximately 50 kilometers from St. Peter's. As for distinct populations, the First Nations community Boodledek is less than 15 clicks away from St. Peter's, and the former gym had a large component of users from this community. So the Village Fitness Center will cater to all age groups and will benefit any user by providing an opportunity for them to exercise and to contribute to their better physical and mental health. And the community groups that surround us will benefit from this project as well. Specifically, the workforce at the Richmond Villa Nursing Home, with staffing level around 100 people, and the East Richmond Early Education Center, around 50 people, will be offered group discounts, as will the members of the St. Peter's Volunteer Fire Department and the local emergency medicine technicians stationed in the village. During the past 2 years of the pandemic, Nova Scotia has been spending more and more time at home in their own community. The Village Fitness Center will help residents maintain and improve their health by providing a space for physical exercise, fitness classes, yoga classes, and other areas of interest as they arise. As the Village Fitness Center is being set up as a co-op, This will ensure wide participation of the community as they purchase a share in the co-op and become members of the co-op. And as a co-op, as you all know, the members will all have an equal say in the administration and direction of the VFC. The Village Fitness Center will be listed in the Nova Scotia Registry of Joint Stocks. I received a letter today from them saying that it's been processed. It's not official yet, I guess. The numbers hasn't been issued. And as you might have known, the Village Fitness Center will be housed in the vacated Nova Scotia Liquor Commission store in St. Peters, with the other tenants such as Eastern Counties Regional Library and the Visitor Information Center slated to also be in the building. The fitness center will take up a valuable area of the building and will allow the Village of St. Peters to have full occupancy. This will also create a positive community hub in the middle of the village, where all ages and generations will have a reason to visit. And you know, the need for this project was demonstrated by the closing of the fitness center, which existed for the past 20 years. And the sudden closure after only 6 months left many in the community scrambling to find alternative ways to maintain their fitness levels. There are carloads of people leaving this community and the surrounding areas every day going to Ayrshire and Hawkesbury to use the gyms there. But by taking the last available space in the community hub, it'll give the residents of the area the ability to boast of a true community space. You know, where the gym is going is in the back of the liquor store, the old liquor store, where it was used as a warehouse. It has very high ceilings, very little extras on the walls and in the doorways. There's no installation setup, so it'll be very easy to renovate. So the planning process for the new fitness center has involved many cross sections of the community. Representatives of the Speedo are on a planning committee with the village staff to coordinate the enhancements needed to open the building for all three tenants. The band council at Boodledek has been aware of the project and has pledged support when it is needed. You know, when the former fitness center closed, there was a collective groan of despair throughout the village. An enterprise that had survived for 20 years, served many people over that time, and had many supporters. And when a search team scouted the area for a suitable place, and was pointed to the old Nova Scotia liquor store, a new vision was formed. We held a community meeting that was filled to capacity with standing room only, and we had many offers of help towards getting the new fitness center open. A Facebook page, Save the Gym, has created as was a GoFundMe appeal. We've collected over $30,000 so far, thanks to generous donations. And since the board of directors was created, a Name the Gym contest has been launched, and plans are in the works to begin a fundraiser soon. There has been instant and continuous support from the village commissioners and staff. The board of directors have staff members from both the local hospital and the nursing home. We have a director from the First Nations community, Boodledek. There's a senior citizen, that's me, a daycare operator, an electrician, 2 bookkeepers, and 3 business owners are also on the board of directors. So we think that the combined experiences and community involvement around the table will bring a healthy mix to the VFC and its formational stages. The board of directors has an equal number of men and women on the board of directors. Hey, because it's 2022. The inherent risks that might affect timelines are contractor schedules, accessibility issues, and of course, always unknown contingencies. But it is a brick building built around the early 1960s, and in 1973, the store was expanded by approximately a third with this 2-story addition on the rear of the building. And given a recent engineer's report on the condition of the building, any investment should only improve the viability of the building for many years. As far as equity, the Village Fitness Center will address the needs of women and girls by holding women-only gym classes and times. As you know, the Village of St. Peters, in cooperation with the county, has established a mandate to complete an accessibility study on March 20th. A consultant has been hired and a series of online webinars and surveys are underway. Both government bodies have pledged to supply for the Rick Hansen certification of accessibility, considered the gold standard of equitable access. The VFC will reach out for the Richmond Rainbow Alliance, which is the LGBTQ organization in the community. We've also contacted the local Department of Community Services to see if their clients could benefit from the gym. And as previously noted, the residents of Boodledek First Nation have been strong, faithful supporters of the local gym, and all indications are that they will continue to support such. The VFC will also schedule fitness classes for those considered handicapped and teach them how to safely use the equipment. We also will greatly contribute to the reduction of barriers when the village in St. Peters and the county finish and implement their accessibility plan. This will allow new guidelines for accessibility to be drawn in all construction plans for the building, with the gym included. The village has recently hired an engineer to provide the necessary plans to bring the building and its tenants and its tenant needs up to the national building codes, which includes the electrical, heating, ventilation, and mechanical requirements. The Village Fitness Center has asked for quotes from security companies with regards to keypad access to members and security cameras as recommended by its successful company. As the building and parking lot was a commercial space, lighting is already present. So the success of the organization in this project is mirrored by the fact that the community and the past fitness center users all point to the need for this facility to be reopened in St. Peter's. And whereas the board of directors have many skills that will contribute to the overall success of the project, the presence of the person who owned and operated the former fitness center as a volunteer to the board of directors is an asset to the project. Marvin was present when the manager of the Department of Tourism, Culture and Heritage arrived to tour the building and look over the project, and he was quite impressed with both the space and the knowledge that Marvin brought to the project. So we're quite happy to have him. Building and maintenance will be the responsibility of the Village of St. Peter's, and the internal maintenance of the gym equipment in the gym will be under the advice of the former gym owner and be carried out by gym staff and volunteers. The project will improve the overall sustainability of the facility as the entire floor space of the building will now be utilized, giving the village the ability to plan further capital expenditures with better confidence. The co-op has over $30,000 through donations, as I said, and we've applied to the Nova Scotia Department of Culture, Communities, Tourism and Heritage for a recreational facility development grant. The commitment from the municipality tonight would help us show local government support for the project. ACOA and the village are partnering on the preliminary work, and engineers preparing CAD drawings of potential building uses, and the village has been getting quotes for the HVAC electrical piece. So we are tonight, the Village Fitness Center Co-op is asking the municipality for a grant of $10,000 to help the gym get open again. We would also request that the municipality consider inserting a further grant in the next year's budget for $20,000. I understand you will soon begin budget deliberations for the next fiscal year, and that's always fun. And if it was considered at this time, it would greatly speed up the opening of the new gym in St. Peter's. And I know for someone like any group to come in here at this late in the fiscal year with only 6 weeks to go, probably has Don pulling out his hair because he could say, well, there goes my surplus, and so I just wonder if there's anything, we really appreciate any support we can get from the municipality because, it's going to be a great project. I think all around it's a wonderful building in the middle of the village, and with those 3 different uses in it, it'll be continuously used and hopefully protected.
There's no question that, you hit the nail on the head. I think the village is still feeling the shockwaves of having lost the gym that we've all enjoyed for so long there. And I know I'm still getting calls about it for sure.
I like the way Claire finished off with 10,000 this year and 20 maybe next year. I'm just wondering, is it 30 the year after, or are we stopping? But that's not my question, actually, Claire. I am aware, and correct me if I'm wrong. So, are you looking to have the building or have the fitness center set up in the basement, I guess, of the old NSLC, or?
Well, it's really a unique situation because there's a 2-story addition that we're going to be taking over. With the top addition where the warehousing was, they have like 25-foot ceilings. So it's great for a gym with lots of space, airspace, lots of head space. Downstairs is a little more convoluted because the steel beams run parallel to each other, but there's still room down there for certain machines. But
I only ask that because I know currently, and it just started up probably several months ago, they have a boxing club, the Richmond Warriors Boxing Club, that seems to be taking off very, very well. And will that impact them at all in the?
Oh, they understand their lease with the village, or their agreement with the village says that they will move out when renovations start, and they're quite aware of that. They're looking for another spot. If anybody has an empty community building or hall that they'd like to rent out to them, they'd appreciate a call, I'm sure.
But also on top of that, I suppose probably the people in the boxing club would like to have a local gym, right?
Well, I'm thinking, I'm just wondering, can you amalgamate the two, considering there's probably 100 local boxers in there now that have joined, men, women, children of all ages. So, again, I don't like to flip the coin and say we need a gym, but I don't like to flip it and say we need to get rid of 100 new boxers that are trying out something new. And I'm just wondering, is that something that can be incorporated in?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the needs of the gym. That's because because my stepson is one of the leaders. So I think we've already had a quota for all the equipment to fit in the gym, and there really isn't much floor space left, especially that to accommodate a boxing ring, which is one thing that they are looking to purchase right now. So, like Brent said, Councillor Sampson said.
Yeah, I understand your concern, Councillor Digdon. I think it's a great new club to have. And I think at the end of the day, whatever happens with that building is going to require renovation. And so they're going to need another space anyway.
So, of course, when I was reading through the proposal and I was reading through the presentation over the weekend, I couldn't help but think about our grants program, of which I know this will shock you, Claire, but there's still money left in there. I had a quick look at the budget and what we've used, what we've committed to, and there definitely is money in that budget. You said the magic words of the Registry of Joint Stocks, because I think that is a requirement. I did go through the document today. I didn't have a chance to reach out to the CFO, which I normally would have done, but it was just a bit tight for time. And so, my opinion would be that your group should reach out to the CFO to gather the information on the grants program that we have. And then you should put an application in right away in hopes that you can get in before we are done for this fiscal. And I know that when we did the policy, we did allow in the policy to have monies committed in this fiscal, but not necessarily spent till the next fiscal if it just didn't work out because of timing. So there's, again, I don't want to speak for the CFO because he can give you more details, but I'm feeling like the type 4 grants are $10,000. Their intention is for health, regional health general grants. To me, and again, I feel like, like Councillor Digdon says, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, you fit perfectly into that bucket and you have money to match it. So that would be my suggestion for sure. I think it's a great idea and definitely a need in the community.
Yeah. Okay, and I would echo the Deputy Warden's comments. I think definitely this would, certainly at this stage in the game for the way that we've set policy around investing in community organizations is we would need a grant application to be considered, to be able to consider your request for this year. And we accept those grant applications. We review them at our committees of the whole. So that's why we'll be talking about the Mariners later on this evening. So we would need to get it from you in time for our March 14th meeting. And usually we like to give the CFO a week or two with that information. So if you could get the grant information assembled by the end of February to the CFO, then that would put you in good shape to be in time for our March Committee of the Whole meeting. And then for future years, you can either, look to access the grant program again, which would be a maximum of $10,000 through that regional health and general, or, you could submit a letter to council to consider at budget time as well. Because we do, we do have a practice of making strategic investments in organizations if we deem them to be a priority of the county and of council. So that's your second option for future years if you wanted to exceed the 10,000 in request.
Oh, that's perfect. I really appreciate the words from Deputy Warden about the grant application. I used to be up on them, but kind of slipped back. But I'm glad to hear that you didn't spend it all, and there might be we can do a little smelt fishing in the spring. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be ready for March 14th for sure.
Just a reminder, the Committee of the Whole is not March 14th. It was moved
up
so it's actually the 7th. So just to give you a heads up on that, Claire, that you might need to do it a little bit quicker.
That's right. Thank you for the reminder on that, Deputy Warden. I forgot we adjusted our schedule to avoid the March break period so that we could all be in attendance. So, but Claire and team, like I'm here, the CFO is there. We can work with you to help you pull that information together as quickly as possible.
And there you have it, folks. That wraps up this week's edition of Tell-Il's Roundtable. Thank you for tuning in, and a big thank you to the municipality of the County of Richmond for making available the footage from the virtual Committee of the Whole meeting, which was held just last week on February the 14th. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future editions of Roundtable, or you'd just like to comment on what you've seen already in this edition, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact me directly. My phone number is 902-625-8863, or you can send an email using the address adamjrcook, cook with an E, @gmail.com. You can also contact Talil Community Television directly. The station phone number in Arashat is 902-226-1928. And you can also send an email using the address info@talil.tv. Don't forget to follow Talil on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And our Talil YouTube channel features every single episode of Roundtable, including this one, along with our sister programs Not Côté and Talil 24/7. Stay tuned to future editions of Roundtable. We've already got some exciting things in the works, including the return of our MLA panel and a discussion among municipal leaders and others who are planning their accessibility strategies to submit to the province of Nova Scotia in the coming weeks. For now, thank you for tuning in. I'm Adam Cook. We look forward to seeing you again very soon with a brand new edition of Roundtable. Bye for now.